Mark Mitchell here with my friend, author-illustrator Aiko Ikegami.
Hi everybody, thank you for coming.
Aiko's book that we're celebrating today, released last month, Seedman, published by Sleeping Bear Press, and Aiko is the author-illustrator. She was born in Tokyo, Japan, and came to the United States and ended up getting her PhD in neuropharmacology. She illustrated and wrote her first picture book back in 2015. Her latest picture book is Seedman, and it was published by Sleeping Bear Press. It's just out, and in a few minutes she's going to be talking to us about her creative process and how she came up with the illustrations and put it all together, and the kind of interesting journey that she had on the way to publication. Creative efforts are never easy. All kinds of obstacles are thrown in your path, and that's what we as artists have to always be pushing through. And that's why we hope occasional programs like this are helpful to you. Linda says she's already gotten your book and she loves it. So that's fun. Hey, Chris.
Oh, thank you.
Hey, Pam. Hey, Jude. How long have you been playing the cello? When did you start?
Not too long. So, I guess it's 3 years ago, but 1 year I had a total of, so 2 years I'm practicing. So I'm still a beginner. So you know.
Oh, super. We're going to incorporate Aiko's music into our storytelling.
The storytelling based on the book, Seedman. Welcome to the story time. Today I'm gonna tell you a story about Seedman. Seedman is this mysterious man who has a bag full of special seed. He carries the seed and goes town to town to plant the seed. One day, Seedman came to town. He planted the seed and called the fairies. The fairies came and they took good care of the seed. Soon the seed grew into a seedling, and the fairies took good care of the seedling. The seedling soon grew into a big tree and bore a lot of fruits. But remember, the Seedman seeds are very special seed. The fruits the tree bore were not like peaches or apples, but they were fruits of present. There are toys, guitar, books, and even a dog. These are things townspeople needed. That night, the fairies delivered the Seedman's gift all over the town. very sad old man was living. He was so sad that he didn't know what he wanted to, or he didn't think he needed a gift. But the fairies and the seed man exactly knew what he needed. So the fairies delivered the seed man's gift to the old man too. The old man received a dog as a gift. When he saw the dog, the old man was surprised. I don't want to have a dog, he said. But the dog was being so cute, he couldn't say no. Ay, 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 he said. He started taking good care of the dog. He fed the dog, and they took nap together. They were becoming a good friend. So it seems like things are going well. One sunny, beautiful day, a butterfly got into the room through the open window. The butterfly was flying around the room, and the dog found the butterfly. The dog thought that the butterfly was so beautiful. He wanted to go near it and say hello to the butterfly. The butterfly was flying around, and the dog started chasing the butterfly. As he was chasing the butterfly, the dog got excited. You know, sometimes when you are too excited, you forget what you're supposed not to do, like jumping on the table, knocking down things, and breaking them. Well, that was exactly what the dog did. The dog jumped on the table and knocked down things and broke what was important to the old man. When the old man found his important thing broken on the floor, he got upset. And you know, when people are upset, they sometimes say things they don't mean to say. Well, that was exactly what the old man did. He thought that old man said to the dog. The dog didn't know what he did wrong. Only thing he wanted to do was say hello to the butterfly. But dog didn't know what to do, so he left. Soon after the dog left, outside was getting dark, and it started raining. Old man started wondering where the dog could go in the rain, and started worry about the dog. So he grabbed his umbrella and went to look for the dog. He was calling the dog's name and looking for the dog, but he couldn't find the dog. But someone found the dog. The fairy found the dog. So the fairy brought the dog back to the old man. When the old man saw the dog, he was so happy to see the dog again. He held the dog and said, "I'm sorry." When Seedman saw that, he knew love started growing in the old man again and thought it was time and told fairies. Next day, the fairies brought a bag full of the special seed to the old man so he could be the new seedman. One day, the new seedman came to town. Thank you.
Thank you, Aiko. That was great. I can see how a room full of children would be enchanted by that story and by your telling of the story. The publisher, because it's they're just releasing that book, they weren't wanting for us to broadcast all the images from the book, but she does have some early sketches and some visuals to show you. Virginia typed in applause earlier. Great. It's fun.
So this is the presentation about making of Seedman. Okay, and yes, please, next slide, please.
Okay.
Okay, let's start with how the story was born. Yes, and then please stop me anytime if you have a question. Many of you remember the magnitude 9 earthquake struck Japan 7 years ago. Yes.
Yes.
And yes, yeah. So the earthquake followed by tsunami wiped out entire towns, and more than 15,000 people were killed, died. And then it was followed by the nuclear power plant disaster. People of Chicago-based, yes, Chicago-based tennis circle were volunteering for the reconstruction of the area. And I volunteered and created the logo marks for them and then the logo marks and the posters for them. So this is the poster that you see and the logo marks. Yes, and I just wanted to the poster to be cheerful rather than sad. So
Oh, yeah.
this is the
It's a beautiful poster, Aiko.
Oh, thank you. So it's actually not
Watercolor?
up. Oh yes, yes, it is. It's a heart. It's blood coming out from the heart, and then people are just enjoying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then next slide, please. And then the one of the volunteering people showed me photos and videos he shoot at the disaster area, and one of the image was this senior man kneeling at the affected area, and he was just sitting there, and maybe his family was killed. I don't know, and I don't even know his name, but somehow his image just stuck into my head, and here's why. About 20 years ago, I lost my boyfriend with car accident. So yeah, so I just saw myself in him, in his image. So yeah, and with this image and the people who are helping, like volunteering and to help other people for the reconstruction, the Seedman's story was born. Yes, it was so development. It was now I have to develop characters. So I just started wondering what the man looks like. It's a rough sketches of charcoal on paper. And next, please. And it's more detailed sketches were made with graphite on paper. Pencil, yes, on the paper. And this one was a deleted scene, so it wasn't used. And more images. And this one was used for my picture book dummy to be submitted. Okay.
It's beautiful.
Oh, thank you. And then, so I guess, so the seedman was developed very slowly, as you see. It took many years for the story to be developed, and it also took a long time to find a publishing home. And about 5 or 6 years later from the first image, Seedman finally found a publishing home at Sleeping Bear Press. Next, please.
When you were first developing the story, you made little thumbnail images. You were developing your characters. And then at what point did you start putting together a dummy to present it as a complete book?
Chopped stories were coming into my head, so I was just gathering the stories into it. And that took a long time. And I just kept forgetting about the story. Then I started working the Friends other book, which was published before. So I just put this Seedman aside. And, yeah. Hi. So there was I think after either a little bit before the Friends was published or maybe a little bit after, I started putting the story together and submit to my agent.
How did you present it to her?
I submitted as a pencil dummy with a couple pages of colored sample.
So then she proceeded to try to market the dummy to publishers. And what kinds of responses was she telling you she was getting at first?
I usually get, I think the art style wasn't right for the publisher, or the stories were not for them.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Can we share your agent's name and agency with the group?
Anna Olswanger.
Olswanger.
She's amazing. Olswanger.
She kept sending it out. She believed in it. She wouldn't give up.
No, she's a super agent. It's true, and then I'm learning so much from her, and I'm so lucky to have her as my agent.
With Friends, she worked with you a little bit on the story and on the writing. Did she do some of that with this story?
Oh yes, not only that, but also artworks too. Like how she has a lot of. She guided me through. It's something like once I submit the dummy and story, it's just started growing to something better.
Can you tell us a little bit about Sleeping Bear Press?
Yes, Sleeping Bear Press. I'm so glad that they saved Seedman. They saw something in it, and so then I started. It landed on Sleeping Bear Press, and there I worked with editor and art director. They gave me lots of good feedbacks as well. For example, the cover page of the Seedman. This was suggested by the publisher. and I liked it a lot. It's
a beautiful cover. It's very mysterious too, and it feels like an old folk story, but this is strictly came out of your imagination. Has nothing to do with Johnny Appleseed. Once they approved the sketches, they asked to see final paintings. Is that right?
So my way of painting is traditional, as you know, traditional watercolor painting. And the paper I used was Fabriano Artistico, Hopeless Extra White. I have tried and experimented on so many different papers, but I always coming back to Fabriano.
What is it that you like
You
about
know,
it?
right. It's very, very sturdy and tough paper. It can handle the abuse.
Abuse, okay.
Well, because I'm not sometimes I get too aggressive to the paper, but Fabriano can take these abuse. And these are the watercolor tubes I use.
Okay.
And paintbrushes, I use Sebo Kolinsky round paintbrushes and also synthetic flat paintbrush.
Okay.
And in this Seedman particularly, I also use these miscellaneous things like new paper. It's a Japanese paper, and also gold leaf. But I was these are more detail in the later slides. I can explain these things to you. And so here is the final art. Example of the final art.
It's beautiful.
Thank you. Here's the detail of how I do the painting. So at the right corner, you see the color I used for this particular painting. Yes. So in this particular painting, I use these colors, and then for the fairies golden fairy dust, I use. Do you know Mona Lisa gold leaf? Yeah, it's very thin piece of paper, and I place it and adhere with ES paste. So it's kind of glued into it, but it's very, very thin. So if you sneeze, you will just go away. And I also used the white that was made by Dr. Martin's bleed proof white.
Covers the paint.
And then fairy's wing, I use undu paper. You see?
Yes, it looks like a tissue.
How about tissue paper? It's just like that. And then because it looks like a fragile, like butterfly wing,
Yeah.
I wanted to create. Do you like it? Yeah.
Yeah, I like it very much. Yeah.
Thank you. So sometimes I adhere with ES paste. ES paste is a glue.
Okay.
But sometimes I peel it off. Can you tell which one is peeled off and which one has paper on it?
Which one is peeled off?
So the top one still have. Yeah. That's right. This one.
Can't tell.
There are two wings.
Yeah.
Yeah. The bottom one doesn't have paper. It was peeled off. And the top one still has paper.
When you peeled it off, it left the color?
Yeah, that's what I like.
It really works. And so does this fairy, since we're talking about things that work.
So that's the process of my painting. And many years later, and with lots of revisions and help of my agent and art directors and editors, Seedman was published. And then it's a cover to cover bookstore. It's my local bookstore. So if you order through the bookstore, they will ship you the signed copy. But the bookstore is amazing bookstore. It's for children only, but then it's so beautiful and cozy. But it's not only wonderful place for children, but it's also hanging out place for artists and writers. So if you go there, you get to meet writers, and yeah, it's all.
This is their bookstore
Mhm.
and their
Yeah.
events, and it was opened by a former teacher. Was your release party there, Aiko?
Yes.
Very cool. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And
Okay.
you told me yesterday about your latest illustration assignment.
Oh yes. Now I'm working on the illustration for Why Worry, written by Eric Kimmel, and it was originally published in 1979, and then it will be released next year. And it's such a cute adventure book. I like it so much. Here's what I think. Here's what I think. So my original art and stories are always rough and not so charming.
Mhm.
It's like rough ideas, but it's always polished by my agent and editors and art directors. And yeah, after that polished and it's published, and it's like shiny, it becomes a shiny ball. Ta-da!
Ta-da!
Okay. So for somehow I always like to end my presentation with my favorite quote by Walt Disney. All yeah, all our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. And it sometimes takes some time to see what we want to see, but it's important not to give up. Thank you. Mark,
Yes, uh-huh.
I would like this is music and storytelling is new to me, and
Yeah.
I would like to improve. If anybody has an idea or comment, just let me know so that
You want some feedback on your musical story presentation. Virginia says, beautiful art, love the children and how they are shown. They look so happy and cuddly. Gwen is asking, what do you feel sets your work apart?
set my work apart. But could you?
What's different about, I have an opinion about that. Aiko was in our Marks and Splashes course a couple years ago. Every time she submitted her work for critiques, we were all noticing how soft her images were and how beautifully realized they felt. There was a sort of a completeness. What I noticed about Aiko's work and have noticed from the beginning is the humor that's in her work. They're funny. Her little characters are funny. There's just, it's like a belly laugh. It's a chuckle. That kind of sounds like Aiko's own chuckle sometimes, but it is part of her style. And I think that's what her agent saw. She actually had a couple, once she started sending out her stories and her dummies, she actually had a few agents fighting over her, and I think they all, not fighting fisticuffs, but they were competing for her, because I think they saw the softness and child friendliness of her style, but also her terrific humor that's just in the images and in her little characters. Do you consciously strive for funny?
No, I want them to smile. People like audience to laugh and smile. That's and then I want I yeah. So, but I also want to sometimes make a serious painting I try to do, but then it's always somehow changed to to a funny
Something
character.
else?
Something else.
Rebecca is asking, are your finished pieces larger than
the size they will be in the book?
It's about same size. You know, Mark. It's about same size.
same size? Okay.
I used to, you know, the spread, large spread.
Double page spread?
My scanner was small, so I couldn't fit
The whole thing.
them. I took the place that can scan for me.
Mhm.
That wasn't so good. That wasn't so good to scan at the shopping place. You know, the like office something.
Office Depot or
scan.
something like that.
But it wasn't good, and I wasn't able to use. So I used to cut it in half
Oh,
with clay so that it can fit in my scanner. But now I have a big flat scanner.
but you had to cut all your double page spreads.
Yeah, it's sad.
Very sad. Let's take more question from the group. And you know, they're having lots of advice for you, but they're liking the cello intro. Christine says, I think it would be really nice if slideshow or animated video of illustrations. I'll send you more suggestions. All right, one more question for Aiko, and then we'll wrap up.
Oh, but thank you so much for the suggestions.
Rebecca says, Mark finally cloned himself.
Mark finally cloned himself.
Yeah, in the
other course,
and I've mentioned it in the description box of the video. It's Aiko and I both took Cindy Wider's shading and form drawing class. And that helped us so much. And so I put the link to it's in the description box as well.
It's in the description box as well.
I think graphite and charcoal class. She also has charcoal class, and it was wonderful. Charcoal is a little bit difficult to get into because it's not easy.
No,
not really. But she make it to.
She has a wonderful way of breaking things down and helping you really master your materials.
Oh, and then also Mark.
Yes.
Also, your course is amazing. Helped me a lot. You are the one who took me to watercolor.
Thank you. This will be the last question. Virginia said she's wondering how you transfer that color.
Oh, you just place the paper and then paint on it. But if you after you put the paste glue on it,
Yeah.
you can't wet it because it's soluble. And then if you wet the paper again, it will just come out.
And it leaves the color.
So you cannot hear me, can you? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Virginia, did you get that answer? Okay.
Okay.
Guys, we're going to wrap up because I'm not sure how much more of this double audio you can stand. I'll edit this and I'll send out the link. Other links are in the description box on the video. Aiko, thank you for this wonderful presentation.
Aiko, thank you for this wonderful presentation.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yes, Linda, I know I sound terrible. Sorry about that.
Terrible.
Tech issue.
But tech issue. But
we'll say goodbye, and we'll see you guys on the next adventure. Okay.
Thank you.